What's up, everybody? It's the Digital World Podcast. Boy, oh boy, these hackings continue. We have now a $600 million hack in a DeFi site called Poly Network. Now, this is a warning call to everyone. If you have anything being staked in one of these DeFi sites, take it off. There's a lot of stuff happening right now, not only in the regulatory standpoint of view, but also in the cyberspace. Okay, right now it's very fragile. A lot of things are happening. So yeah, you might want that 8, 9, 10, whatever percentage they're giving you on that stake. But is it worth it if you lose all your holdings? I don't know. So it'll be interesting. Keep an eye on that. And this is a warning. Okay? This is I care about you guys and I want you to hold your things and not lose them. Right now we're in the wild wild west still, and there's a lot to be happening. A lot that's gonna be happening. Okay? It's gonna be a bumpy road ahead, but make sure you're playing it safe out there. Now, another thing about this is that if you've noticed in the past couple months, we've had hacking in all sorts of industries, in food supply, oil, now, cyberspace. I know the White House was hacked. There's a lot of this happening, okay? And it's screaming from the mountaintops. The infrastructure is old, okay? And this is the narrative that's being built up. Whether they want to use it for good or they want to use it for bad, okay? There's always pros and cons to this. But the agenda and the narrative is gaining steam, it's gaining traction. So just something to be aware of. Ashish Birla. He said crypto will underpin our global financial systems. There's no doubt about it. In the 90s, we saw smart and thoughtful bipartisan regulation when it came to the internet. It completely changed the world and paved the way for the tech giants of today. We still have the opportunity to do the same for crypto. The government should be technology agnostic. Let's keep the pressure on. This is far from over. Okay, so he's talking about, how this technology can change the world just like the internet did. Okay, but if we're talking about, yes, this will enable the cross-border payments. It'll enable things to be done a lot easier. It'll update the current infrastructure we have. However, on the flip side, you could almost think of this as having the chance of becoming a dystopian sort of society. Okay, so there's both sides to the coin. You hope that they would use it for something good, because it would benefit our lives. But at the same time, there's always a power struggle. No matter where, anywhere you look in history, there is nothing new under the sun. There's always going to be a power struggle. So you have to take that into consideration. And I've always been a proponent that you should have a financial plan. If you have some debt, pay off that debt. If you want to be able to have a space to live that's fully paid for, you can do that too. That's why taking profits is important. You have your short-term bags and your long-term bags. Okay, it's very important, especially with the current state of society. There's a lot of instability. So everyone knows what they're doing, everyone has their own plan, and you're going to stick to that plan. But it's something to think about when push comes to shove and there's certain price points that are hit and you haven't thought about what you want to do, you won't pull the trigger. And uh, this is independent to everyone, but you'll look back and maybe you would have wished you would have taken some profits, maybe not. But to each their own. This is just something I like to advocate on this channel, to have your own financial plan. Okay, I know there are many YouTubers that have said, I'm gonna hold this. This is gonna change the world, and I'm gonna hold until, the end game. And others say, I held too long in the last bull run. I'm gonna take some profits on this one. So to each their own. Everyone's experience is different. Here is Cynthia Loomis talking about, the misunderstanding of digital assets. And here I'll let her do the talking.
What happens if the language remains so that it's more far reaching than you would like to see?
If that happens, we will be watching Treasury very carefully to make sure that they narrowly craft the rules and regulations around the definition of broker. That became the issue. They were trying to define broker in a way that would catch people within the cryptocurrency world that don't have information that's helpful to the IRS, and could put them in a very difficult place. I think it expressed a fundamental misunderstanding of how digital assets are built and are placed on the blockchain. So we've got a lot of education to do in Washington.
Mhm. What
There
happens?
you have it. Okay, so that's her comments after amendments to the infrastructure bill failed. And here is another one. Now pay attention to this video.
I do believe that long term it will catch on. I believe there are so many innovators in the United States right now. Since China kicked out the Bitcoin miners, allegedly because of energy production, but we all know it's because they don't want the competition for the digital yuan. They want their currency, which is not transparent.
And also just a point on that, it's interesting now that they rolled out their digital yuan, they start kicking out the Bitcoin mining. Very interesting to note. They don't want any competition with that. Now it begs the question: if the U.S. and the rest of the world bring out their CBDCs, will they also do the same? And will they also use utility assets to run those CBDCs and get rid of everything else that doesn't? It begs, the question: what's going to happen when those CBDCs are implemented? Critically think, and I know you guys are smart enough to know this.
On the blockchain, but that allows them access to the information on how the digital yuan is being used. We want to make sure that if there is a digital dollar, or if stable coin becomes the standard for the fiat currency world, and that the non-fiat currency world can grow and interface with the fiat currency world, that you'll have sort of the best of both worlds. It will allow the non-banked to participate in the economy, just as we've seen people in El Salvador do. And it will also allow people to use it as a store of value. So I'm optimistic. I think that there's so much energy and excitement and innovation in that space. It's almost like when the internet first started. We're seeing this exponential growth. And so I'm very excited about this space, and I think that there's a lot to commend its very positive future in the United States.
There you have it. Okay. And so there's a big push. Actually, let me give her a follow here. Yeah, there's a big push that's happening. And if you want to see it, you'll see it. If you don't, you don't. But you also can't be carried away by these narratives, all right? Because it's very easy to think what they want you to think. You have to kind of be a contrarian and ask questions. Um, so I hope this episode has brought you some value. Like and subscribe, comment below. What are your thoughts? As always, I like hearing from you. This is the Digital World Podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.